Hey everyone, thanks for listening to the Grow Your Life podcast. My name's Jeremiah Krakowski, and on this podcast I talk about ways for you to grow in your life and your business. And I want to talk about creating an audience that's going to buy from you, to get in front of new customers, new clients, new business that you've never worked with before, people that are outside of your existing network, people that are outside of your existing group of people. And when I work with my clients, this is who they come to me for, is to help them do this. And so I'm going to unpack for you a process that I've gone through with these clients over the last couple of weeks for using social media to do this. One of the biggest things is that when you create social media content, you're able to build an audience. Content creation, once people engage with your content, whether it's on video or it's text content or images, you can create audiences with them in the Facebook platform, where it captures the people who took those actions, the people that engaged on the social media. With any piece of content that you have, go into a bucket called an audience, and then you can show and target in those buckets any other stuff that you have for sale. This is what I teach how to do in my social media ads that work course. I'm not going to break down what I teach in that course here, but I'm going to actually break down the content side of things. It's another episode that I did, episode number 65, where I talk about more of the framework and the process of step-by-step unpacking ideas that get people to take action. You want to validate the problem that people have and lead them to the solution that you're selling. But what I'm going to share today is how to hone in on those people, how to get the language that they're using. You want to be able to mirror the words that they're saying and mirror the language that your audience is saying. And this is a process that I've started to do recently with social media that has worked really well. As I started asking a lot of questions on my social media, I started talking to my social media as friends and acquaintances rather than as random people that are out there. I actually started talking to them with lessons that I wish that I could share with myself when I was younger. Lessons that I wish I could have shared with my parents when I was younger. Lessons that I would have shared with my dad and my mom and my grandparents and my aunts and uncles and leaders at church and friends and colleagues and other mentors. And what I did was, in my mind, I'm creating this content that's like the people that have been in my sphere of influence throughout my life to encourage and attract people into my world that resonate with the message that I'm sharing. Okay? Let me explain that. I'm boldly talking about things that I was afraid to talk about before. I'm confident to put stuff out there regardless of how it may be interpreted or misinterpreted. I am purely talking from a state of, this is me, take it or leave it, and let's have a conversation together. And what's happened is that's attracted more qualified customers and clients in my business. I no longer am worried about appearing like somebody that is good to work with in business. I'm no longer worried about looking good enough to them with my content to attract them. And instead, I'm focusing on, how can I just communicate in a way like I would to my friends so that people see the authenticity that comes across in what I'm saying. And so for you, how do we break this down into the practicals? Whatever it is that you're selling, whatever it is that you're offering, I want you to think about the people that are going to buy from you, that you're going to work with. If you have a network marketing company of some kind and you're selling a product that people buy, or maybe you have a yoga studio, or maybe you have a marketing agency, or maybe you do coaching. These are all different types of things. You're going to have a common issue that people have, is there's a lot of competition in your market. So a lot of the people that I work with are in highly competitive markets. How do you set yourself apart in those highly competitive markets? How do you set yourself apart to create an audience? By being totally out there with who you really are on the inside. The stuff that you wouldn't normally share with people unless they were close friends of yours. Being vulnerable enough to let that side of you out that you've hidden from the public in a public sense. In the words that you're saying, in the words that you're writing, particularly. I'm not really the type that posts a lot of photos of me or photos of things that I'm doing throughout the day. But the words create a picture, and I'm painting a picture for people to attract them to what I do. And that builds trust and rapport and actually safety with my target audience. So they feel safe enough to buy from me, to listen to me, to engage with me, to learn from what I'm talking about. They feel that if they listen and apply it, it's going to get them results. Now, are they actually going to get results? Yes, they are, if they apply it. And that comes from the confidence that I know that the quality of what I put out there is at that level. And so if you know that what you're selling is a high quality product or service of some kind that's going to help people, you have to frame the language of your social media content in the way that's going to attract that type of person. And this is the customer avatar. This is the type of person that you're wanting to most often reach. So the people that I most often reach share some similarities. They struggle with procrastination. They're very successful. They have a lot of value to bring to the table. They're in highly competitive markets. They've probably had a lot of success in the past, but they're struggling to find customers in their business right now. So as long as I make all of my content talking to some human being that's having that issue, it's laser targeted to who I'm trying to find for my business. And that's you. If you're listening to this right now, that's something that resonates with you. You're wanting to find more customers, more leads, and more clients in your business with social media. The biggest factor of this is being willing to put ourselves out there to the point that people judge us and misunderstand us and misinterpret what we're going to say and even egregiously believe the worst possible thing about what we said. That's a big one. Is being okay with people misunderstanding you so much that they actually think that you're a bad person. I'm okay with that now. 6 months ago, I wasn't. Now I am. If somebody looks at my content and wants to assume the absolute worst about me, doesn't bother me. Doesn't affect me, doesn't affect my emotions, my choices, my decisions, or how I build my business, because I know the truth about the quality of what I put out there and the way that I help serve and get results for my clients. And so I had to get to that place of self-belief. If you're somebody that has a positive self-image, you probably don't deal with this. If you're somebody that has dealt with a lack of positive self-image, you're very self-critical. You're very critical of yourself when you make mistakes. This creates a loop to where we don't want to make mistakes. And oftentimes it's tied to feeling like, well, I don't want to lose out on time or money investment. So I don't want to lose out on potential money by making a mistake that pisses somebody off. I don't want to waste time by doing the wrong thing. And what happens is that worry and fear of wasting time and losing money produces the exact scenario in your business where you're going to waste time and lose money. That's what I found. That's what's happened with every client that I've worked with, is that as soon as they let go of that fear that we're going to go broke, that we're going to waste time, that this is going to be, that we have to hurry and get all this stuff done, and they just started accepting themselves, going through the process, testing things out, they started to get results. The process for social media content creation is very similar to the way that the CIA and social scientists and psychologists look at people's patterns. They're able to triangulate the patterns of what people are doing, what they're saying, based on the responses that come in. If you ever watch stuff like Jason Bourne or Homeland, you know how they do that. And so when it comes to you on social media, creating content that's going to attract your target customer, you're essentially like a CIA analyst. You have some information that you're trying to gather, and you're piecing together intelligence as to the facts about who you're trying to reach. And then you can put that content out there. But it starts by testing. It starts by putting some stuff out there. When I coach people, I help coach them through this process, often with their storytelling, with their offers, with their ads, with their headlines, with their emails, so that it's all consistent and attracts people that are ready to buy from them. When you combine this with social media ads, Facebook ads, it becomes very easy to build a business that is profitable to an audience of millions of people that have never met you before. Okay? And so start thinking in that way. There was a podcast episode, not of my podcast, but this other podcast that I watched called Everyday Espionage. And he breaks down exactly what I just told you in this episode called Information versus Intelligence, about triangulating things from a different slant, from a different angle. And so when you're asking questions on your social media, I borrowed this straight from that episode. When you're asking questions on social media, you're triangulating who your target customer is, their life situations, and you're proving certain hypotheses. So I've actually found a lot of the audience that I work with, quite a few of them really love spy novels. Quite a few people like horses. Quite a few of them like video games, or they like sewing or reading or driving in a car, different things like that. Like enjoy driving in a car. I'm somebody that likes that. They like baseball, things like that. Those are surface level things. I've also found that they can be very self-critical. They've been through some kind of a traumatic event with either family, friends, or something in their life. And because of that, there's a belief of their worth, that they're not good enough. Or if they do have a belief that they're good enough, there's a sense of pride that they know everything already and don't need to learn anything new. That they know everything that's under the sun to be successful, and that that learning this stuff that I'm talking about right here today is below them because they're already doing it. That's the other one that I've heard from a lot of people. And then when I dive in and do an audit of them, they're doing the exact opposite of what they claim that they're actually doing every time. And so if we can humble ourselves to say, okay, what don't I know? How can I learn? How can I grow? How can I discover about my target customer? What are the unanswered questions that I don't know the answers to? Do you know the life experiences of your target customer? Do you have a strong inkling as to what it is? Have you confirmed that by asking questions and posting on your social media and having them share and unpack their stories for you? Are they sharing and unpacking their stories on your social media and it's resonating? If not, then your content needs to be reframed in that way. And that's how you build an audience that's going to take action that then you can either follow up with, you can generate leads with, you can make content that's going to lead them to generate leads. You know, the way that I do this, my content, whether it's on my podcast or my courses or my social media, is I tell everybody that if you're dealing with struggling to find customers in your business and want to know what the right things to do are, schedule a 15-minute call with me for free. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. I'm telling you that right now. If you're somebody that's listening to this and maybe you're having a hard time translating some of what I'm saying for you, I'd love to hear from you personally, and we can figure out what the best process is for you. I talked to a lady the other day who is in financial services, and I figured out that it's basically people that want to protect themselves financially and learn a little bit about investing in the beginning. And so we noticed they're probably thrift store shoppers. We want to get into the mindset of the target customer. They probably eat at fast food. They're thrift store shoppers. They buy value brands of cars. So if we're able to target those things, we were actually able to find her target customer. Talked to another lady. She works mostly with busy entrepreneurs for their health. So I said, then you have to target business publications. See, these different sides of things. It's all about the lifestyle of your target customer when it comes to targeting online. Facebook gives you access to the entire world. And when we start with that basic level, with the broad targeting, and then we create lookalike audiences based on who engages with us, we can find millions of brand new customers and clients in our business. And that's what I teach step by step in the course, Social Media Ads That Work. And so if you're somebody that is trying to find new customers and clients in your business, don't overcomplicate this process. I see so often people have a lot of great stuff up here, a lot of value to bring to the marketplace, and yet they're overcomplicating, not being able to do everything perfectly. They're also not setting themselves up for success. They're either working at a dead-end job that's burning them out, or they're not giving themselves enough time to dream and to come up with ideas and to optimize their life in a way that's going to produce the most results. I highly recommend some of you start getting up at 5 a.m. I highly recommend some of you start journaling in the morning. Start making declarations. Start casting vision for what you're going to do in your day. Start writing down maybe some of the struggles or things that you're working through. If you're anxious about anything, start journaling those things down. You know, when I was younger, I used to be afraid to journal, and I started doing that, and it unlocked everything for me when it came to my social media content, how to communicate and connect with people. And our clients now are getting even more results with this. We just helped a client this last week generate over $250,000 in his business in the last month. 2 years ago, the business was making zero. Just since coaching for the last 2 years, we're able to make multiple seven figures with that client. And so if you're somebody that needs help in your business finding more customers, you need to start with the framing on your social media and discover what you don't know about your target customer to create a connection with them. Connecting on a deep, intimate level with them to where they are willing to be vulnerable with you to share parts about their life that they may not share with other people. We're not manipulating them into this. It's because they feel like, okay, this is actually a safe space for me to share this type of stuff. And I want to be that safe space for you. If you're somebody that's listening to this right now, we can talk on the phone. You can message me on social media. You can comment on my social media. The hashtag Grow Your Life Facebook group is a great place for you to share this stuff. There's no stupid questions. There's no ridiculous questions. We have to stop being so afraid and worried about looking stupid to people by asking questions. We have to stop being so afraid and worried about appearing like we're not intelligent because we need help with something. This is a matter of ego and pride that has to be killed. And for some of you right now, you're listening to this, that might be triggering a little bit to you. The way I would ask you to combat that, go to my website and schedule a 15-minute call with me. That's going to break you free from that. Why? Because you're going to take action in the face of that struggle to ask for help. It's going to do it. And for some of you as well, you can win a free 30-minute coaching session with me by leaving hashtag Grow Your Life on my Instagram as well. I pick one winner every single week on my Instagram to win a free 30-minute coaching session with me when you leave hashtag Grow Your Life in the comments. We have to break free from this fear of losing everything, it not being enough, us being not good enough, us fearing wasting time and money and being afraid of looking stupid if we ask for help for things. The only stupid thing that you can do, I'm going to be super real here, is not asking for help, especially when you have a mentor like me that is offering to help you, that is offering you to do that. I know that some of you don't want to inconvenience me. You don't want to step out of line, feel like you're asking too much because you're at such a basic level. You're not. Please reach out. I'd love to talk with you. I'd love to see where you're at, what you're going through, and we can start to work on some more podcast episodes as well. There's a recording of a group coaching call that I did in the hashtag Grow Your Life Facebook group this last week. It was on Friday, August 28th, where I break down a lot of this in there, and I think that's really going to help some of you. But I know many of you need a little bit more specialized one-on-one support in this area. And so I'd love to hear from you. What are you working through? What are you going through? What's happening? What's preventing you from taking action right now this week in your business to get 2 clients? What don't you know that you need to learn? What are you waiting to discover? What are you waiting to take action on? What's the worry about how you might look or how they might judge you? We cannot be afraid of that stuff for us to go build our businesses and get results. We can't worry about how people perceive us. Yes, how we're perceived and understood matters. How people interpret us matters. But not out of worry and fear. There's a difference. I'm going to craft my language. I'm going to craft and frame my content in a way that attracts my target customer to me. But not because I'm worried about how they might respond. It's a place of confidence. And I can tell you confidently after doing this for years, 17 years working with business owners to help them create millions of dollars in sales, go from zero to millions of dollars. This is one of the number one areas when it comes to attracting new business, scaling and growing that changes the game for everybody. You have to be willing to put yourself out there. You have to be willing to humble yourself enough to ask for help. Stop doing it in a passive-aggressive way, too. If you're somebody that's used to speaking passive-aggressively, people can't read your mind. To expect other people to read your mind is ridiculous. It really is. Ask for help, post your questions, get the help for the things that you need, and grow your life. Can't wait to hear from some of you. I can't wait to talk with some of you about this. And let's create a plan for you to take your business to the next level. Grow your life, everybody, and we'll talk soon.